Welcome to your practice, everyone. I'm Jacq, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Mindfulish School, along with my good buddy, Cole Chance. And today I have an Ayurvedic-inspired practice for you. This is meant to be practiced during the colder seasons of the year to balance us out by inviting a sense of warmth and freedom in the movement of the body. In our upcoming 300-hour training, we begin with these practices of ritual, creating a personal practice called Sadhana, as we dive into meditation, Ayurveda, and a sense of personal ceremony, if you will, within our practices. So let's begin seated. I'm sitting up on a block. This helps me, especially in the beginning of practice, as my hips or low back feel a little tight. So you could do the same if you have a yoga block at home, or invite a blanket underneath you for a little cushion. And we'll take the backs of the hands onto the thighs. So right away, we feel this opening across the chest. If you'd like to let your eyes close, go ahead. Or you can just let the eyes rest softly in one place, as if the eyelids themselves could get a little bit heavier. As we turn our attention inward, let your observation land on the spine. So the whole length of the spine from tail to crown. Notice if there is truly one long line. And if you find that you're tipping forward or tipping back a little bit, allow yourself to make some adjustments. I like to lift the back of the skull, let the shoulders drop down. And with this sense of structure through the spine, let the shoulders, the jaw, and even the scalp find some softness. We'll begin with a simple breath practice to turn on heat in the body, gently by breathing in through the nose as you sit up tall. There's a slight pause when you're full of breath, and then breathe out through the nose as you let the shoulders find even more ease. Slight pause when you're empty. Keep going with this. And as you breathe in and out through the nose, invite a slight constriction in the throat. And by that, I mean that feeling as if you were fogging up a mirror, But do that keeping your mouth closed. So lips stay sealed. This gently warming breath not only physically prepares the body for movement, but it invites the mind to drop in and focus on one thing. And as we take just a few more rounds of this practice together, you might even visualize a sense of warmth spreading through the body from the center outward. Perhaps from the space of the heart out into the arms, down into the pelvis, and out into the legs. Let's take one more round and then we'll begin moving. Don't be in a rush, breathing in. And don't be in a rush as you breathe out. Let's meet on hands and knees. So you can move whatever you're sitting on. Just set it off to the side. Climb over to your hands and your knees, all fours, letting your shoulders come right above the crease of the wrist, so not forward of that wrist crease. And then press the hands down, the finger pads down, press the tops of the feet down and lift the sit bones. Drop the belly, look forward, cow. As you breathe out, round your spine, cat pose, press into the earth, drop the chin into the throat. With your breath, inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. 3 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out, picking up the pace slightly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Tuck your toes. Please sit your butt on your heels. This will be really intense for some of us. You can stay just like this with some weight in your hands. You can walk your hands in. Or if you feel all right here, you might walk hands on top of your thighs. So all of your weight is sitting on your feet. And then even stretch out your pinky toe so it can touch your yoga mat. Backs of hands on your mat. Ujjayi pranayam, breathing in. Breathing out. Sometimes I hear this called fire toes. Can you stay for one more breath? And then walk your hands back to the mat. Let's meet in downward facing dog. If you need a couple taps of the toes, wiggles of the ankles, take that. And then when you're ready, hips lift high. Pedal out through your feet. So you drop one heel and then bend the other knee. Drop one heel, bend the other knee. And then come high onto the balls of the feet, move the shoulders out of the ears, and let both heels drop to the left as you bend your knees. Have a look at your screen if you need a visual for this one. See if you can still send your hips high. And then come high onto the balls of the feet, drop the heels to the right, bend your knees and send your hips high. So big opening on the side body. Let's go one more side each time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Hips stay a little bit high. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Come back to downward facing dog, letting the balls of the feet find the earth. The heels can soften down, but they don't have to touch the mat. Lengthen the arms, but move the shoulders out of the ears. And then lift the sit bones high. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Start to walk your hands to your feet, hands to feet, back of mat, letting the heels find the earth. Once you feel stable, climb hands onto shins, halfway lift, neck is long. Breathe out, take a bow and fold. One more time like that. Telescope the spine forward. Your arms become like a kickstand. And then breathe out, drop your head, drop your brain. Let's slowly roll up to stand. The arms can dangle. Let your shoulders drop down as you stack your head on top of your body. And then with your right foot, step to the center of your mat. With your left foot, step to the top of your mat. Draw your right knee into your chest. Take your arms up with you. Breathe in. Tree pose as you breathe out. Left hand could come to your hip. Right hand can find the right ankle. And then you can place the right foot anywhere along the left leg. Set your eyes in one place and strengthen your standing leg. That's your left leg. If you're balanced pretty easefully, you could take your arms up. You could let the shoulders relax. Let's all do that so the arms actually come wider today, and maybe lift your gaze. That always keeps me humble. Switching the gaze a little bit higher. Take one more big breath in. We'll step into a curtsy. So tuck your right knee sort of behind your left. Right toes tuck onto the ground. If your hands can reach behind your back, clasp them. Open through the heart. Lift the gaze and then take a bow. Drop your head. Either clasp hands or keep the arms reaching up to the ceiling so the shoulders move away from the ears. Drop your hands down to the ground and please step your right foot back. Lower your right knee down to the ground. Take your arms up, Anjaneyasana. You can untuck the back toes. Let the shoulders soften. Let's take these wide arms. Imagine your shoulder blades kind of tuck into the back of the heart, inviting a gentle lift at the front of the chest. Take the left hand to the left hip and we'll have a side bend. Right arm reaches over to the left. Keep powering down through your front foot and your back foot. Take your right hand to the earth, lunge twist, left arm to the sky. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Gaze might come up toward your hand. Take your left hand down to the ground, step back downward facing dog as you breathe out. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Let's lift the heels, inhale. Drop your heels to the left, soften your knees and send your hips high. Imagine your handprints were like pressing into sand. Inhale, lift your heels. Drop your heels to your right. So as you make these handprints with sand, imagine you had equal weight in the hands. hands. Inhale, lift onto the balls of the feet again, and then soften the heels down, soften the knees just a touch so you can send the sit bones high, and don't let the rib cage flare out too much. So there's a gentle hugging in of the ribs toward each other. Full breath in, neck is long. Walk hands 2 feet, back of mat. Let the heels eventually find the ground. Soft knees bent, folding forward bend, standing forward bend. Climb hands onto shins, halfway lift. Breathe out and take a bow. Let's come into chair pose to stand up this time. So you could bring the feet a little bit closer together. It's really whatever feels stable in your body as you bend your knees, put your butt in your chair first. Then lift your torso. Then lift your arms. Arms could be alongside the ears or hands to heart or hands to hips, but have a look-see down. Make sure you can see your toes and then imagine your sit bones reach back and down. If the arms are stretching, arms reach forward and take a full breath in. Stay for your exhale. If you want more, reach your arms even higher. And then when you breathe in, stand up tall, high prayer. Hands to heart as you breathe out. Step the left foot to the center of your mat. Step your right foot to the top of your mat, and then draw your left knee into your chest. Take your arms up. Find one place to rest your eyes. Let your shoulders relax. Breathe in. As you breathe out, tree pose. Left hand can help your foot or help your leg. Find connection between standing leg and your left foot. And then find a placement for your hands and check in with your tall posture. So from tailbone out the top of your head, you're nice and tall. Maybe the arms open up wide with soft elbows. Press your foot into your leg into your foot. If you feel stable, start to tip your gaze up. Find a baby back bend in this variation of tree pose. Take one more inhale, and on the exhale, it's a curtsy. Left knee behind the right. If the hands clasp, take the other pinky on top, drop your head. Take a big breath out. Intentionally move the shoulders away from the ears. Let your hands touch the earth. Step your left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Lower your left knee. Take your arms up. Soften through the elbows, tip the back of the heart, lifts up into the front of the heart. Take a side bend, right hand to your right hip, left arm stretches over to the right. Big breath into the left lung. Take your left hand down to the ground, right arm to the sky, twist, you can lift your back knee, and then move both shoulders out of your ears. As you turn, feel your left rib cage move toward your right. Take your right hand down to the ground. Step back, downward facing dog, right foot next to left. Let's roll forward into a plank pose. So roll the spine on out, shoulders come right over the wrists, and then feel the back of the skull lift a little bit. Super strong legs. Downward dog again as you breathe out. Let's do this 2 more times. So breathe in, start to roll the spine forward. The neck unravels, the back of the skull lifts slightly. Engage your legs. Downward facing dog is your breath out. One more time, plank pose. And then downward facing dog as you breathe out. Okay, we've got one more plank pose. Roll yourself forward. This time, lower your knees. Look slightly forward. Lower your chest and your chin as you point your elbows right behind you. So you're like a little inchworm. Your butt is sticking up. And then untuck your toes. Lower your pelvis. Cobra pose. Keep pinning the shoulder blades together. Strengthen the legs. As you exhale, lay your heart forward and down. So you're on the mat. Take your hands now wider than your mat. So they're just kind of reaching onto the floor or whatever space you're on. Coming into a variation of cobra. Strengthen your legs and then lift your heart. Breathe in. Press through your fingertips. See if you can lift your palms. Drop your right shoulder forward and look over to your left. Let's do this with breath. So rise back up through center. Drop your left shoulder and look over to your right. One more time each way. Breathe in. Feel your heart beating as you breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Look over to your right, breathe out. Rise back up through center, listen closely. This time when you breathe out, drag your heart forward and down to lay your forehead on the mat. Lengthen your arms by your side. We're keeping the pace today, so we keep the body warm. As you inhale, begin to pick your head up off the mat and then loop your shoulders up to your ears, then draw them back and down for locust pose. Check in with your lower back. Reach your fingertips behind you. Arms, hands are floating off the mat. If your lower back feels okay, try lifting your legs a little bit. Imagine the lift of the legs comes from the inner thighs. So that really gives us an internal rotation of the leg bones. Track your tailbone toward your inner ankles. And imagine you could get longer here rather than trying to lift up so super high. Take another big breath in. As you breathe out, drop your left ear to the ground. Let your shoulders slump forward. Take an inhale. And an exhale. We're going to come up one more time. So you can bring your head back to neutral. Chin or forehead to the mat. And then inhale, lift your head, loop the shoulders onto the back. Maybe you lift the legs at the same time. And then imagine you're like a superhero. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Move the shoulders out of the ears and no need to look forward. You're looking slightly forward, but also slightly down. So you keep the back of your neck nice and long. We've got 2 more breaths. Ujjayi breath. When you next breathe out, bring your right ear to the ground. Let your shoulders relax. Take a satisfying breath out. And then lift your head up, stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands, and just give your hips a wiggle side to side. Bend your knees, sway your knees and your shins from side to side. And then we'll press back to a seat. So you can sit on your heels if this feels okay in your body. If that's not working, of course, you can sit cross-legged, and we'll end with a simple twist. Let's take the arms up, breathe in. Twist to your right as you breathe out. If the ground is far away for your back hand, you can take your right hand to a block. So the hands help you turn. Be wary of the shoulders creeping up to the ears. Stay in your twist, but turn your chin toward your left shoulder. Bring your head back toward neutral, chin above the sternum, and then untwist. Let's come back into our breath. So inhale to stretch up. Exhale, twist to the left hand behind you, right hand to the other knee. You can find your block behind you if that was helpful. And then turn. Feel the rib cage turn around the spine. While the shoulders stay super soft. And then let your chin lean toward your front shoulder. Bring your head back toward neutral. Let yourself untwist, and we'll take a forward bend. Sit on your seat. Your butt is what I mean. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to bring a block in front of my feet. You could bring a block or a bolster. And then as best you can, stay with a long spine and start to tip forward as you breathe out. Now, if you truly keep your spine long, you probably can't tip super far forward. So find that place. I can't go any further. From here, let your spine round just from the mid back to the upper back. So middle of the back to the upper back. You can rest your elbows on the floor or on your block. And then relax your jaw, please. As we come toward the end of our practice, let the intensity of your ujjayi breath ease up just a little bit. One of the basic principles of Ayurveda tells us that opposites balance. So when we're in the colder months of the year, of course, our simple job is to keep ourselves warm. Take one more full inhale breath. Stay for your whole exhale. And then listen closely. Look forward. So lift your eyes and then lift your heart and sit up with a flat back. If you'd like to come onto your back for Shavasana, you are welcome to lie down. Although if you feel like you're going to get too cozy and fall asleep, try a seated meditation today. So there's this quality of discipline and not just staying under the covers during the chilly season, right? We could tend to go in hibernation mode. So we do a little bit to turn up the heat. Backs of hands can rest on thighs, or if you're on your back lying down, backs of hands could rest on the earth. Take an inhale breath and then an open mouth exhale. And let's do that one more time. Take your biggest breath of the day. Open mouth and let it go. You are welcome to stay in your still space for as long as your day allows. If you are interested in learning more about these practices, Ayurveda, and all of yoga beyond the mat, you are invited to join us in our 300-hour training. You can find more info at the link in the description, and I look forward to practicing with you soon. Thank you.